Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, and my co-host Ms. Purrington is at home. We have another co-host today, Suey. You might hear from her later. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. You can keep up with us on Twitter and Instagram at Comedy Wham or on our Comedy Wham Facebook page. Please rate and review us on iTunes. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, and live shows featuring the best in Austin comedy in all its shapes and formats. Launched in 2016, the Podcast Project brings you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. Today, I sit down with a return guest, so this is a Volume 2 episode, and since his initial episode with us, he's continued to cultivate what was then a new show, The Joke of Painting, which he co-hosts with the darling Avery Moore, and he's opened and featured for an incredibly impressive array of names, Fortune Feimster, Brian Posehn, and the Lucas Brothers, among others. And he's continued to be a Moon Tower Comedy Festival favorite. And I warned him ahead of time, he is still my hands-down, all-time favorite impersonator of Duncan Carson. But most exciting of all, if that wasn't the most exciting part about our guest, the most exciting of all is that this year I am talking to the 2019 Funniest Person in Austin winner, which is super, super exciting. So, and now Comedy Wham presents our guest, Andrew Murphy, Murphdog.
Hello.
I don't know if I'm eligible to call you Murphdog.
Everyone's eligible to call me Murphdog. The Murphdog accepts all followers, and he's also referring to himself in the third person now.
That's awesome.
This is what's happened since our last interview. My ego's out of control.
Oh, boy. Well.
How are you, Valerie?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm doing good.
Good.
I was re-listening to our talk from a couple of years ago, and one of the things that I still do with my interviews is an icebreaker question. And because this is your return visit, I'll ask you how you want to handle it. So I always ask one word to describe your past. So do you want a brand new word, and then I'll tell you what you said before, or do you want to know what you said before you come up with a new word?
I do remember this question. I don't think I was happy with my answer. I think it was like some dumb word that meant nothing. I'm going to have a good word for this
Okay.
one. Let's see. One word that describes my past. No, it's going to be another shitty one. This is what happened last time. I mean, honestly, the first one that comes to mind is just difficult. The word difficult comes to mind. Which is like, I don't even know what that means, but I've just had a lot of difficulties.
Yeah.
Not like even hardships so much, it's just everything has to be difficult with me.
Yeah.
Even if I am good at it or it's something that I am passionate about. I tend to make things harder for myself. But, that's how I got here.
And I specifically made notes from that first interview about how you struggled with the one-word question. I think you didn't like to do it at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then when I did it again at the end, you're like, oh, you really struggled with it. And it's always entertaining from, my side of the mic to see different people's reactions.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also want to tell you, because last time you asked if it was okay to curse, I want to let you know off the top, it is okay. You can.
Fuck yeah, motherfuckers.
There you go. So your one word the last time was unpredictable.
Ugh. Yeah. That I now remember, yeah. Unpredictable. Like it already happened.
Right.
The past literally already happened. How could that be unpredictable? Anyways. Yeah, everything's unpredictable. No one's able to see into the future. Yeah. Well, I think difficult. I'm more happy with difficult.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly exciting to be able to sit with an FPIA winner.
Thank you.
I watched, just to have it fresh in my mind, I watched your set. I went to your post where you did the comparison of your set from a few years back to the set in May to earn you the crown, and one of the cute things with your thank you were really uncomfortable about wearing the cape.
Yeah.
Have you gotten more comfortable?
No, because I'm not just wearing it around willy-nilly.
Really?
I should be, yeah. I went to the Sour Grapes show, which is a show they do at Cap City, and they have a lot of people who didn't make the finals on it. It's just like right after the contest every year.
Yeah.
And I went to watch, and Bearden was like, "Why did you not take the cape? Why did you not wear the crown and cape?" I was like, "Oh man, yeah, I should have, but I had to take the bus." And he's like, "Wear it on the fucking bus. Wear it everywhere. Why are you not?" Like, there's really that's one of the biggest rewards of this, is just being able to act like a silly douchebag all the time, and you kind of get a pass.
Yeah.
But I was uncomfortable on stage with the whole crown and cape situation.
Yeah.
It just felt like adding more frosting to an already frosted cake. And it was just
you were so humble. Like, you're one of the more humble comics in the scene. Like, I'm not sure you love the attention of it, but like, you're very deserving.
I mean, I love attention. I got a little bit, because I'm doing stand-up comedy. I'm literally forcing people to listen to what I say. But yeah, no, I think it was like this weird moment of like, I didn't think I really had anything to say besides like, just thank you, and I really wanted to show appreciation to the scene, and then my family, because like, my family's been super supportive. But yeah, other than that, I was just like, I'm not going to make a meal out of this. I mean, we've all been here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone wants to go.
Yeah.
This is more exciting for me than it is for literally anyone else in the room right
Yeah.
now. But it was like a cool moment, and the crown and cape thing was just, I think, a funny like element to add, especially because I was up there, I was getting kind of emotional, and I was giving this emotional speech, and then they're just putting this like this king of town, costume on me as I'm doing it. It was just a funny contrast, I think.
So breaking the I don't know if this is the only phrase I can think of, breaking the fourth wall. So you actually do get to go home with the cape and the crown?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I got to go home. The night I won, I went to a bar called The Wheel, which is walking distance from here. It's about 10 minutes away, and a bunch of comics went. I wore the cape and crown there. Actually, my friends were giving me a ride to the bar, and I made them stop at a gas station so I could get cigarettes. And I don't really smoke that much, but it's just one of those things. It's like, fuck it, I'm drinking.
Yeah.
It's a drinking and smoking kind of night for me. And, which is never going to come out of that cape. My apologies to Cap City. But anyways, they made me stop at a gas station and go in with the cape and crown on. And no one really said anything. Everyone was just looking at me like, just this fucking guy.
Well,
Who does he
East
think
Austin,
he is?
right?
Yeah, exactly. And then more than one person made a comment about Christmas. Like one person, and they both were like, they kind of had foreign accents, so it was like, they were just like, "Oh, Mr. Christmas, there he goes, Merry Christmas." I was like, that's what this means to literally anyone else who wasn't at the finals. I just look like a Christmas man. But yeah, what was that? I got off on a tangent. We were talking about the crown and cape. Anyways, I walked home from the bar. I got so drunk, I literally was like, I'm leaving, everybody. And I just like walked home wearing the cape and crown. And my roommate, Chris Tellez, he got home later that night, and he said when he got here, he saw the crown just laying like on the first floor outside of Sandstone.
Oh my god!
He was just like, it was just laying out there, and I was so drunk. I was like, dude, thank you. That would suck. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would just be like, I fucking lost the crown. I mean,
God, Andrew.
Yeah. I was not off to a great start being FPIA. I slept through my Dudley and Bob interview that I was scheduled for the next morning.
Oh, that's what happened?
Yes.
Oh.
Did you listen to that episode?
Oh, yeah. I listen to that show every morning, so. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, but apparently I hit up Matt Bearden afterwards, and he said, "Yeah, that's tradition.
Yeah,
the FPIA doesn't typically show up."
Oh.
I was like, "Good, yeah." Sorry, I was drinking more alcohol than I've ever consumed in a week-long period, let alone a night-long period. And then I got to wake up at 6:30 do an interview. Maybe it's best I slept through it.
Yeah, probably.
But I'm still bummed I missed it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, other than FPIA, you have continued for me as an observer of, it is definitely a comedy Christmas for us to see who's going to be on the lineup for Moon Tower. And you'll correct me, but it seems like this is a 3 or 4 year running thing that you've been part of the Moon Tower Festival. So you're a darling of the scene, darling of Moon Tower. And when we talked, you specifically mentioned how you were giving yourself 2 years before making a decision about a move.
Yeah.
And so we're at that 2 year mark. You've just, you've been consistently on Moon Tower.
Yeah.
You just won this coveted prize. For all the politics and, different relationships people have to FPIA, where is your mindset as far as being ready or interested in moving to one of the bigger cities? And don't break my heart, because...
Yeah. No, we're going through another mass exodus of comics from the scene right now. I don't know why I gave... The 2 year thing was weird. I think that was just me trying to sound proactive about something in my life. And by giving myself, a really quick, swift deadline of 2 years to literally make a decision about moving. But at this point, I still don't know, honestly. Yeah. I definitely want to travel as much as possible. That was something that I was never really good at, and I'm still kind of learning the ropes. But I want to at least visit New York and LA more than I have in the past, which is never. So I'd like to go to each of those places once, hopefully sooner rather than later, to visit and scope it out, and then I'll make a decision after that. But at the end of the day, I really love doing stand-up in Austin. I think people tend to overthink what doing comedy in Austin means. I overthink it too. And I understand there's no industry here, but there's a really cool thing going on here where if you're good at comedy, you can have a lot of fun doing it. And that's something that people work their whole lives to achieve, especially if they're in a scene like New York or LA. It's oversaturated with comics with a good reason, but there's just a lot more struggle there, and I think it takes a lot of balls to do that, and I'm not even counting it out for myself, but it's hard to leave a place where it's I can get up on stage every night, and it's not even really that difficult.
Yeah.
It's just, and I can get work now at one of the best clubs in the country, Velveeta Room is one of the best clubs in the country. I can get time on both of those clubs, and I've made a lot of connections here, I have a lot of friends here. So it's going to be really hard to leave this place. I think it's going to happen at some point, but at this point, I'm not giving myself a deadline. I'm just going to test the water, and just see what happens.
So even with that prize, that didn't spark okay, I'm out of here.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, it didn't spark anything. I think it actually a
drunken celebration.
Oh, apparently. Yeah. But that was a spark that fizzled out very quickly. And, it honestly felt more like a fire being put out. Just everything working up to that moment, I was, not to, give you a sob story. Every comic out there is working their ass off and exhausted. And I'm in that group, too. I was just doing shows every night. I was broker than I've ever been. Yeah. Just running on empty all the time. I was working, I still work as a mover. I was working moving jobs during the day.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, and all that plus raising 5 kids is, no, I'm just kidding. I don't have kids, but, it's just once I won, it was like, it just felt like peace. It just felt peaceful. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought it was going to be this big moment of like, when teams win the championship, they're spraying champagne all over the place. I was like, man, I could just go to sleep now. This feels great. I can just sleep. But it still felt good, just for like, in a different way. Yeah. And it definitely didn't spark anything where I was like, oh, on New York now. It's like, if anything, I was like, no, I want to stay here for a while. I want to, this scene got me this cool opportunity, and I want to kind of relish in it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And among the contacts that you've made, too, by opening for some pretty impressive names, I mean, okay, we're going to show my age here. Your Rolodex of contacts in the comedy universe is far beyond the Rolodex in Austin.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but
see,
is that some kind of comedy robot?
It's basically your iPhone contacts list. There we go. There we go. All right, now I'm relevant.
Okay, but conveniently split into 1,000 pieces of paper.
Yes.
No, I remember Rolodex. Sorry. So
you have an impressive, because you've opened for nationally touring comics. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you feel, because you are so laid back? That is your persona. Is a very laid back person. Mm-hmm. I'll describe you as I see you from the outside. Yeah. You are a happy person. You're a grateful person. So if you have these names, like could you call on a Nate? Could you call on one or the other of the Lucas brothers and say, hey, I'm interested in going out on the road a little bit more. Can you give me pointers? Are you looking for somebody to feature for you? Is that the type of thing that you have growing confidence to do? Or have you done it? Maybe I'm...
Yeah, not really. So that's something I need to get better at too. Like that's like a new growing opportunity for me. And I maybe even talked about this on the last podcast. Like I just don't network very well. I kind of just see comedy as like, or I have seen it this way. I need to change this, but I look at it as just like, oh, you get up on stage, you tell your jokes, and then you're done. Yeah. And like that's what we're here for. And like that's true, but yeah, no, I'd love to be able to reach out to comics that I worked with and actually build somewhat of a relationship with them. It can be tough. Some comics just aren't interested in that. You know what I mean? Like the Lucas brothers were super nice, but I don't think I talked to them one time. Yeah. You know, like they're just kind of within good reason. Like they're kind of just like, nah, we're just here to perform, and then we'll see you later. And then some comics are a little bit more interested in like giving you opportunities and helping you out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I need to kind of figure out who those comics are in the moment, and then seize it and build. It always just seems so phony to me. But I don't think it has to be. You know what I mean? I think that there's a way to network, and that's also just organically genuine. And so, yeah, long answer, I suck at it. I have a dusty old Rolodex, and when I open it, a moth flies out. Oh. But I'm working on getting some numbers and names in there and stuff. Yeah. And I think travel helps with that, too. Yeah. Like, just going to different cities. Mm-hmm. So. And tag teaming, maybe. I mean, if that's the kind of thing that you mean by travel, is doing little road tours, is partnering up with somebody who is... the complement to that, where they are more, oh yeah, I'm going to call so-and-so and try to network that way. That's a great idea. And, I definitely think the more I travel, the more I'm going to want to do it with people I know. I'm going to want to bring people along with me if possible. And, it's good to get people like that who are, cause I mean, I've seen people surpass me who started after me. Just because, they're horrifically unfunny, but they're really good at networking, and they just are able to wield that in a way that's super helpful for their career. And I'm like, I think I'm pretty funny, and I suck at networking. So if I can find my ludicrously unfunny second half, better half, we can really make some magic here. Yeah. So if you're out there listening and you got shitty jokes, but you know how to talk to comics off stage, hit me up.
Well, maybe Comedy Wham can do your manage your road tour, because I talk to anybody.
I'm down. Hell yeah.
And I'm not funny. So there we go.
I didn't want you to figure out that I was talking about you and only you, but yikes, here we are.
Oh, man. No. Second strike against you, Andrew.
Everyone I've ever met is hilarious. I just want to go on record as saying that.
So one of the things that I noticed from that early set and that you posted on Facebook as your compare and contrast, a couple of observations that you made were you thought you were really mean to the audience member that you kind of picked on that. Yeah. And that just seems like such an Andrew Murphy thing, because when I watched it, and I forget how many years ago that was, but when I watch it, I'm like, okay, that's pretty standard comedy fare. You weren't really that mean. That just seems like you're a nice guy. A impression of that. But, so you can talk about that, element. But what I really wanted to talk about is, cause you know this moment is coming, you did impressions during that, light impressions, during that early set. And I did watch, obviously I was in the audience, but then I rewatched the 2019 set, and there isn't as much of the impression work. So is that something you've backed off from, or is that just something that it's an evolution of your writing and performing?
Oh, okay, interesting. I don't remember doing impressions in that early set. I was doing I don't think I've ever done celebrity impressions. Okay. But I did voices?
Yes,
okay.
And that's what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've definitely backed off of that. I don't really do any voices, and to the point now I've probably gone in the opposite direction. I probably need to dial it in and start doing a little bit more voice work. But I see what you're saying now. I did used to do a lot of oh, I'm a different guy talking than the one before. Yeah. And it's and now it's just everybody sounds exactly like me. Yeah. Even I do a joke, or I talk about my mom, and when she says something, she sounds like this. Hey, I'm your mom. Yeah. And I kind of like just having the same singular voice for everything. Yeah. But no, that's on my bucket list. I want to master not a crazy amount, just 3 celebrity impressions. Not even for the stage. I just want to be good at them at parties and shit. But anyways, yeah, I think that's just an evolution of my stand-up, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. There's one celebrity that you know.
Oh, are you just trying to get me to do a Duncan?
Yes!
You want to talk to Duncan? Okay.
Duncan, do you want to partner with Andrew and be his road manager?
Love the Murphdog. I love going on the road with him. We hit up a Buc-ee's and maybe, lots of laughs.
I feel like it's getting worse.
I'm the worst.
No.
I should never have put you in that
No. I gotta... sometimes I'm really in it, and then sometimes... I think the drunker I am, the better I am at it. Which makes sense, because I was shit-canned for our first podcast. No.
Yeah, there's just a lot of, trailing upwards at the end of sentences. And thanks for coming to the show. We got a good show. Everybody's gonna be funny.
And now you've morphed into something else.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes he accents words like that. I want someone to do an impression of me. That's the thing. That's the most... I think impressions are super flattering. You know what I mean? So, if you're out there, someone hone a good Murphdog impression and do it for the Murphdog.
Yeah. I would imagine Chris can probably pull that off, since he...
I don't know.
No?
He's never pulled it out in front of me.
Yeah.
Maybe just anytime I'm not in the room, he's just I'm Andrew. I'm laid back, or whatever. Yeah.
We're going to go really inside Austin comedy here, because soon after the FPIA, there was a Funniest Andrew in Austin competition, which, if anybody's listening outside of the Austin area, Austin has... how many? At least 6?
A superfluous amount of Andrews.
A lot of Andrews in town.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who won that one. It was not you.
Mm-mm.
Who was the funniest Andrew?
I didn't even place.
Oh. Oh, shit.
For some reason, they thought it'd be funny to do a top 3 still. Which is crazy because there was like 6 or 7 Andrews. So it was more like an indictment of the 3 Andrews that didn't. And that was me. Here's the thing. I actually did bring my crown and cape to that show.
Yeah.
And my whole bit was going to be, I'm going to walk out from like behind the curtain and just be wearing my crown and cape. And just do my set. Don't even like really reference it.
Yeah.
But then they randomly called names. It was like one of those things where Andrew Dismukes was hosting. He'd pull out a name. And then, yeah, it was just random. And so I went first. So I didn't... I knew I wasn't going to place, which was truly, truly devastating. But then also, I just didn't get to do the bit. I carried that crown and cape around all night. That was my biggest disappointment. It's just I didn't get to rock the crown and cape.
Yeah.
But that was kind of a humbling night for me. Yeah.
Well, we can just blame Pat, right? I mean, he rigged the whole thing, surely.
Yeah.
Surely
Always
he
blame
did.
Pat.
Yeah, always. Is that one of the elements that makes it hard to think about leaving Austin? Is that camaraderie that exists in the city to be able to do something as goofy and self-referential as the funniest Andrew in Austin?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna miss that for sure. And the Velveeta Room especially is cool because it's like it's not a small scale club in terms of its reach. You know, a lot of people know about it. It's got, I think it's growing more and more. You know, and but they still just do these weird shows, and a lot of credit to Pat. Like, he just takes a lot of risks on just a lot of ideas where it's just like, hey, what if we did a funniest? I'm sure it was just one conversation he had with someone. He was like, maybe we should do a funniest Andrew in comedy contest. That'd be stupid, right? And then I'll just do it. And it was stupid. Yeah. But it was also, like, super fun and really weird. Yeah. And, like, the audience, it was a sold-out show. It was so wacky. Those 11 o'clock Friday shows typically never sell out. It's sold out. Yeah. Everyone in the audience was on board as soon as they heard what it was. Yeah. Like, they all just, it was one of the best audiences ever. Like, so that was a really fun night. And yeah, I think I will miss that. I think that we have a really special thing here in Austin. And I mean, I'm sure other scenes are like this too, but yeah, everyone kind of just enjoys each other's company. Yeah. There's not a lot of like bad blood when you're just hanging out in the back of the room watching shows. It's very cozy and welcoming. So that's cool, and maybe it's also detrimental sometimes. Maybe sometimes you need to be out there with the sharks, you know. Right. Yeah, I hear that from time to time. Right. But, you know, we're too nice. A little bit. Yeah, I think so. Well, speaking of weird shows, you're on the heels or just had a 2-year anniversary of what by title seems like a really weird show, The Joke of Painting, that you co-host with Avery, and it's a testament to that it's a weird show, well executed, that it is at 2 years running. And you and a handful of other shows around town that are either monthly or, I think it's mostly the monthly shows that were at a previous venue that decided, we're done with comedy for, ill. And you kind of got a reprieve because Pat and the Velve decided, hey, we'll take these shows on. And they took on Your Joke of Painting as one of those. So first of all, tell us what The Joke of Painting is and that whole concept and some of the fun adventures you've had in the 2 years of its existence. Okay. The Joke of Painting is a show that I've never learned how to explain to people. Okay. It's literally me and Avery's idea, and it's basically, it's the joy of painting with Bob Ross, but with comedians. So we have an easel on stage, and the performers draw things for the audience, and then the audience follows along. We provide the audience with utensils and stuff. Okay. So it's just like, who knows the origin of it? I mean, I think me and Avery were just drunk, and we just were like, wouldn't it be hilarious if... And, like, we just thought of it just right there on the spot, and then we did just one of them, and then, it took over for Bounce House, which is a show that me and Aaron Brooks hosted. That's, like, a whole thing, like, him and Danny Palumbo hosted it, and then, but anyways, and so it became this monthly showcase at Spider House, and then now it's at the Velveeta Room. And, we actually have one coming up on the 24th. Okay. Which is a Monday. Okay. So... Super fun. I love there's like a whole series of Monday night shows, like what you just mentioned, the shows that were at Spider House that are now at the Velveeta Room, and Monday nights are have become like my favorite night of comedy. It's kind of interesting, like because when it's not, we do our show there once a month, but then there's like other shows that are there, like every single Monday there's a different show, and it's like. It's cool. Now we're on 6th Street, so we get to go to 6th Street on a Monday night where there's free parking and it's not even that crazy.
Right. That's right.
And the turnouts have been great. It's just a blast. Yeah.
How has it been adapting from, because the Spider House was, by all accounts, a very large venue for shows versus the Velve is a very small, intimate venue. How has that transition been for you and Avery? With that show,
it's actually been better. It's an easier show now. For one, we don't give the audience paint anymore, which is like one of those things. Like I just look back at the last 2 years, the most stressful part of the show has been buying paint for everyone, and then we just had this revelation of like, well, we can't really have people painting at the Velve. Like they actually have nice tables, and it's like more of
the fumes.
The fumes, right? Everyone's going to be high off their gourd, And we were just like, why don't we just give them markers instead? And they just use markers. And if they want to paint, they can bring their own paint. And I was like, surely that will be bedlam. That will be mayhem, Avery, if we do that. The people will be furious. But no, we tried it a couple times, and the audience doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought people would be like, well, this is ridiculous. You said we'd have paint and markers. Let's go, kids. There's a family for some reason. They're like fine with it. So it's like easier now. Like we don't have to buy as many supplies. Yeah. It's just, the Velve feels more like home, to be honest, than Spider House did. No disrespect to Spider House, but they don't do a ton of comedy shows there, whereas the Velve, we're there all the time anyways. So it feels more comfortable. We feel more in our element, and it's just been really great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, you love doing comedy, and now that you're at peace with your victory, are you thinking about whether or not you'd like to create another show?
Oh, for sure. I've been thinking about it. Yeah. That's on the bucket list, and it's really just a matter of reaching out to establishments. I'd love to do another show downtown. I'd love to see downtown be more saturated with comedy shows. Because I think that's like when people come from out of town, that's where they're going to want to do shows. They're going to want to do it in the heart of Austin, where people are out and partying. And so anyways, I'm going to reach out to some places. There's some venues they do at Moon Tower that I think would just be great for consistent showcases. So if you're out there, you're listening, and you own the parish, hit me up. I'd love to do a show there.
Well, it's tricky.
Yeah.
Again, this is the outsider.
Yeah.
I see, I'm on the Facebook groups, and there are shows at venues that last, a month, a couple months, a week. And it's hard to figure out what is the winning formula. Because some of them, there's kind of a trope that if you're not ready to host a show, don't host a show.
Yeah.
But then there have been shows that are at venues where it's hosted by, competent, credible comics, and they don't last in the venue for whatever reason. And, is that intimidating? Or do you think I'm credible and competent. I've been hosting a show. I have credibility.
Yeah.
I can pull it off.
You're asking, is it intimidating that some of these shows, don't last?
Yeah.
They just don't, Not really, because I just think that's, business. That's just how it is. If any show that you start, there's going to be this understanding, typically, with the establishment that, if you can't bring in X amount of people, then we just can't keep doing it.
Yeah.
And, no one really loses anything.
Yeah.
It's just, so I'm not super intimidated by that. I think it just goes back to my shitty networking. That I'm like, how do I send emails? How does that work? It's the easiest thing ever, and I just... I got to get on it. But I would love to host another show,
Yeah.
preferably one where I don't have to hit up a TJ Maxx every time.
I was going to say, would you like to do one that's plain vanilla
Yes.
or one of these not outrageous, but, very unique type
Yes,
of shows?
I love the joke of painting. I love how unique it is, but I'd love to do one that's just a straight up comedy show. You like jokes? Stop there. That's it. So yeah.
We talked a little bit about the evolution of your jokes, the observation that you did more voice work early on, and versus what people can see on your set from the FPIA. Is there a continued evolution, intended or not? We talked about you'd like to do the 3 celebrity impressions. Is there something about your jokes, your joke telling, that you would want to change?
Is there an element of my comedy that I'm trying to change, or is there something I'm trying to work on? Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely want to just be more present during my sets, and I think that's something that, excuse me, is like I've been slowly getting better at. It's kind of hard not to, but I want to get better at just interacting with the crowd, not necessarily doing crowd work, but just being, I'm trying to think of comics who are really just great at that. I mean, like Rory Scovel is an example of someone who he just feels like he's so in the room, he feels so present during his sets. Like even if it's something rehearsed, it just feels like he's just at a get together and making jokes for his friends. It kind of has that fun guy at a barbecue who's also incredibly hilarious thing. And I think I like to write jokes, and my jokes are very written. You know what I mean? They're just I'm just performing like jokes that are clearly something that I thought about and wrote out, and I want to get better at no, this is me having a conversation with the audience.
Okay.
So I think I've been getting a little bit better at that, but that's something I definitely want to work on. And then I'd love to be able to just pop out an impression on stage. Why does it just have to be McRae?
Yeah.
I'm coming for your throne, McRae.
Oh boy.
If that is the real McRae. I don't even know. The guy's, I don't know who he's going to be 1 second to the next.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not very good. I would never be a good poker player. I don't know if you saw my facial expression kind of really? The comment that you don't feel or that you'd like to be more present on stage. I've never gotten that impression from you that you weren't. So is that something that somebody has told you, or is that just something you feel about your own?
It's something I feel, and if it's not always visible, it's just something that I feel on stage. I'm just I just want to be more here and not so worried about just nailing the wording of my jokes perfectly, and more concerned with do I look like am I having fun? Do I feel like I'm having fun?
Yeah.
So it might not even be something that needs to change outwardly as much as inwardly, where it's it's just an attitude thing.
So is that something that you find yourself consciously worried about getting every word right when you're?
Yes, okay. And it's not I'm not super anal about it. I'm not a perfectionist, but I do want to get. If I flub up a word or something, I have a tendency to let that affect the rest of my set, because I'm just so in my head about oh my god, you stuttered when you said this, or
Wow.
Yeah, and I think this is I'm pretty sure most comics go through this, and the trick is to not let it show, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's just, it's definitely more of an inward attitude that I kind of want to cultivate a little bit in the next couple years. Yeah.
I admit I have not seen a joke of painting show, because late Monday nights they're not necessarily an option for me.
Weird.
But the reason that I'm bringing that up again is there an element of improvisation to you hosting that show?
For sure. Yeah. Me and Avery, our whole opening segment is us just making fun of really shitty paintings. And that's all improvised. A lot of times one of us will find the paintings, like the day of, and we won't even show the other person. So like the most recent show we did, we always have a theme, and the most recent one was shitty paintings of the Beatles. And I had not seen any of them beforehand, so I was like in the moment just looking at the, like, Avery found these just god awful. I mean, it's hard to make the Beatles uglier, you know what I mean? But someone did it. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think I have elements of my act that can be improvised, but I think, like, those moments when I'm improvising or I'm, like, doing crowd work or I'm dealing with a heckler, I feel so uncomfortable. Even if it's not showing all the time.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's definitely
showing.
But, like, even when it's not, like, in my head, I'm like, this is fun, but let's get back on page, people. And, like, I want to just be able to, like, just live in those moments.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is fun. Embrace this. Like, especially if I'm going to be doing longer sets, you know, so you're going to want those moments to, like, stretch. Yeah. And every moment that you can break away from your planned act and just, like, interact with the audience or comment on something in the room, that is one less joke that you don't want to do that you get to cut out of your set. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing a 30-minute set, you're going to have a couple jokes you're like, I guess I gotta do this one. I mean, and then you get those little moments where maybe you're interacting with someone in the audience for like a minute. It's like, oh shit, I don't have to do that joke about chapstick that I've been doing for 19 years.
So maybe that's part of pushing yourself in that being more present is having more of those opportunities to just, you know, go off the cuff and whatever. So some of the other projects that I've seen you work on in the last 2 years, one of my favorite, because I know you've done web series or web video.
Like videos,
They're called videos, right? On YouTube?
That's what the kids are saying.
Yeah. The Real Housewives of Austin, where you were the computer nerd.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was such a cool project. I'm sure it was very labor intensive to pull that off. And I'm not saying, I don't know what your role other than the computer nerd, but, you know, how fun was it to do a little video project like that?
Oh, it's so fun. And literally that was my role. Was just, I mean, it was labor intensive on everyone else's part.
Yeah.
I showed up to Mac Blake's house where they were filming, and I was there for approximately 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And I left. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
They got, you know, Mac's a really good director, and, like, everybody who was involved in the project was, like, just 100% committed. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, it was
how that panned out. I really do want to do more stuff like that. I'd love to be in more videos and sketches, but that's something I just got to go out and ask for. You know what I mean?
Andrew, this is your pep talk podcast.
Yeah, it really is.
Because I was going to say, like, even talking to me, you kind of have that awkward thing that you live in, and on stage there's some of that comes through. But when I was rewatching that clip, and I know you were doing promos for you said it earlier on, when Danny moved to LA.
Bounce House.
Bounce House, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You did videos for that, and it's like you're actually pretty natural looking on TV.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, yeah, you could totally pursue that. And
thank you. Yeah.
So roll out the Rolodex.
Yeah,
already.
Let me hit up on Mr.
Like lecture?
Steven Spielberg, perhaps.
Well, now that you've trashed his movie, you're just on Karina's podcast.
Oh, that's not a fun fact. Not a Spielberg movie.
Oh, what?
You'd think it would be, right?
Yeah.
Here's the difference. It's actually because it's bad.
Oh, no.
So that's how you know it's not a Spielberg movie. It's just not good. Spielberg would have killed that. He would have been awesome. But I'll hit up Stevie later.
Yeah, do
I'll
it.
see him at the barbecue.
For sure.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't feel natural. Like being on camera is super weird because it's like putting every little thing you do under a magnifying glass. Which, if you have anxiety, you're already doing that. Yeah. So it's just overkill.
Yeah. But maybe the camera amplifies that part of you that you own so well, which is kind of like that's a terrible way to put that. You know, your awkwardness comes out really great
Oh no!
In front of the camera.
Oh, I completely understand. That's my hook. I am awkward. Whole lot of not knowing what to do with my arms over here. I'm really bad at adulting. No. Speaking of jokes, let's kill that joke. Can we kill the adulting joke?
Oh.
I don't want to go off on a side tangent too much here.
Yeah.
But maybe with the lights and cameras and everything, it does make me feel more like, oh, this is a performance now.
Yeah.
So now I can like feel more comfortable or whatever.
Yeah.
There is something to that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's one of those things like you have it 1 second and then you just lose it immediately. You know, it's like bowling for me. Acting is like bowling, where it's just like, I'll hit this stretch where I'm like, oh, I got it, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the best bowler in the world. Put me in the pros. And then one gutter ball goes in, and it's like, I'll never see another strike as long as I live. Like, but that's what practice.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I want to start doing more video sketch stuff and potentially even take an acting class. Or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would endorse that
Okay.
wholeheartedly. I
Good.
think that is a good angle for you.
Yeah. Do you act or anything? Do you do improv or
No.
Okay.
No.
I gotcha.
I'm currently in the moment of dabbling with sketch,
Yeah.
but it's a really weird little situation.
Oh, okay. Most sketch groups are.
I mean, it's not porn. I don't mean to.
Oh, wow.
No.
You really, now I think it is.
No.
You really
Now I really
amplified
have to.
something I wasn't even thinking, but
So-
I see what you're saying now, and that does sound like
Okay,
porn.
no, it's actually like the complete opposite. It is a little sketch show that I'm doing with my son.
Oh, yeah?
Which is kind of a fun little diversion for him, and because I haven't been able to get on stage for, the last few months, it's a way for me to get on stage. And I think I personally do better when I'm interacting with somebody than when it's just me by myself.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you filming the episodes? Or?
I did a little, my little handheld camera thing.
Okay.
So,
That's all you really need these days.
Yeah.
Ever since The Office came out, you can get away with like kind of shitty not shitty, but just like low budget camera work, and it can work.
Yeah. So in the ideas that you work on with your jokes, like they're so relatable that I would think that you writing your own web series and doing that low budget recording, and because everybody adores you, it'd be easy to recruit people to help you. That seems like something that you could pull off and add to your credentials.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that would be really cool. I've toyed around before with just getting a group of 3 or 4 comics that I gel really well with together, and just going like, hey, let's just write. Let's just see what happens, and we don't have to have an objective. We can just come with ideas. It can be a sketch. It can be just joke ideas for our stand-up. But I do think it helps to have just like a little cell of people that you can kind of like work with and cultivate ideas with. And I definitely want to do that and get maybe something sketchy going.
Yeah.
I want to get a sketchy thing going. Yeah. I already got a sketchy thing going on. What with my glasses and
It is quite a look.
It's a look. It's absolutely a look. But you know what? At least it's a look.
Yeah.
That's what I've discovered is before I didn't have a look. You know, people go like, "Oh, Andrew? Which one?
Which one?"
You're like, Andrew Murphy? They're like, I'm not sure. He's like, the white guy? Keep going. Like, really, really white. Like, super pale. Colder, actually. And then, like, then I got some murdery looking glasses. Some real hiding in the bushes kind of glasses. And kind of grew my hair out. And just generally started dressing like the biggest douchebag on the planet. And it worked. People love it.
Crazy?
I don't know. Yeah.
Speaking of murdery,
I
believe that those same glasses were featured in My Friend Dahmer. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Was it like one of his teachers or something? Like one of his really smart teachers?
No, I think it was him.
Oh,
so
bummer.
You've totally nailed that look.
Well, I got him for $20, so
Yeah.
it's a pretty good deal for a pair of iconic glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're gonna start winding down. Is there
Okay.
anything we alluded to this, but people can catch you on an upcoming episode of Thanks Academy.
Thanks
Karina.
Academy with Karina Magyar. You can listen to me on Chris Cubis's podcast. We actually did like a 5-part series or whatever on this really awful show called Crossbones.
Okay.
I had to watch an entire season of it, which is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris's show is canceled.
It's called
and
Canceled, yeah.
He only talks about shows that have lasted exactly one season. Yeah.
Exactly. We watched a pirate show starring John Malkovich.
No.
Which sounds like it couldn't go wrong,
Yeah.
right? It just sounds perfect, but they somehow fuck it up.
Wow.
And we watched the whole season. Yeah, and then I'm trying to think. Also, they recorded the Low End Inside shows at the Velveeta Room, which is like if you're listening and you're not familiar, it's like a baseball-themed comedy show.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're going to release those at any point. I hope they do, because those are some really fun shows. They did like a league, basically, where they had teams. They had 4 teams of comics, and then they did kind of a playoff type thing, and then we just had the championship, and the Doug Outsiders won. My team, the Doug Outsiders, annihilated
Nice.
the Who Gives a Shits, and won the championship. So anyways, long ass plug for the other podcasts I've done, and you can also listen to my previous Comedy Wham. We did a couple years ago.
Yeah.
If you want to hear me just be wrong about a bunch of stuff.
No? I took notes. I don't think you were wrong.
Okay.
Let's see. No. No.
Nope, you called it
Other
perfectly.
than the 2 years thing where you don't know why you gave yourself that time.
Yeah,
frame,
so
and
weird.
Here we are, and you're like,
You know what? I'm proclaiming it right now. In 6 months, I will make a declaration about my intent to move or not move.
6 months.
So
okay.
we'll have to do another episode then.
Okay. Fine. Fine. I'm always happy to do that.
Hell yeah.
I will put it in my calendar 6 months from now.
Okay,
I'll check
great.
in with you.
Yeah.
See, what's today?
Today
What is today?
is
15?
15th, yeah.
All right, so
Oh, you're really
December
putting
15th.
it down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hope you can catch
I
me
can't write declaration.
on a break at the Whataburger I'm working for, so we can knock that podcast out.
Oh, big Whataburger news that
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out. That's,
What was it?
So some Chicago investment company bought a majority share. So it's no
Oh.
longer majority family owned. And people are turning it into, it's no longer owned by, Texans. And it's like, well, it is, but
Whatever.
this is corporate.
I don't go to Whataburger for the family values of it. I go because I'm a disgusting drunk and I need some grease.
Yeah.
I don't think Chicago's going to change that.
No. If anything, they'll encourage it.
Yes.
There's some pretty greasy food in Chicago for sure.
Right.
Well, is there anything else that you haven't covered that you want to make sure people know about?
No, that's it. I mean, as always, come to the Joke of Painting. Our next one's on June 24th, 9:30 at the Velveeta Room. I don't know when this episode's coming out.
It's coming out next week, so
awesome.
that'll hopefully promote that.
Awesome. Yeah. 9:30 at the Velveeta Room. Super fun. Like, so fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it genuinely is. Like, I know the Monday at 9:30 thing is daunting, and I understand that, but, it's a real chill way to experience 6th Street, and on top of that, it's just a really good show, and our next lineup is stacked, so we're really excited.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I like to close one word to describe your future, and then if you want, we can revisit what you said last time.
Okay. I'll describe my future as unpredictable, because, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Scary. Hot. I'm going to say hot, just because of global warming.
Oh.
Sorry to make it political again, but it's going to get steamy.
Yeah, this was one of the most political episodes
Yeah.
I've ever had. So last time you said busy.
Busy. I hate that word, too. Oh, busy. Yeah, such a complimentary word. But yeah, busy kind of makes sense. So I'm gonna say unpredictable, and yeah, we'll go with that one.
Sounds
Who the
good.
fuck knows?
Yeah, that's right. We're not psychics here.
Right.
Very good. Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham presents Andrew Murphy. Andrew, tell us where we can find you on social media.
Yeah.
And otherwise.
Right. So Instagram is shutup_Murphy. Twitter is shutupmurphy. Don't add me on Facebook. It's a garbage site. Just delete your account. I'm going to. Huh. And that's it. I'm thinking about joining Pinterest as well. I think that's a Luke McClory joke, actually. Where he says, you can find me on Pinterest. Actually, follow Luke McClory on Pinterest.
There we go.
If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's that.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
We hope you've enjoyed learning about how Andrew continues to be a comedic genius and the reigning funniest person in Austin champion, as much as I have. This has been Comedy Wham presents Andrew Murphy. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having
Andrew.
me. Yep, bye-bye.